Ultra Street Fighter 2 on Switch, like Violent Ken on there is so stupid. And again, just like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Who do they make that game for? They like balanced the game by changing some of the inputs, and then they added Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, who are way more powerful than they should be, and for some reason they were okay with it. And like, why would you balance a game and then completely unbalance it? It makes no sense, dude. Oh yeah, they added the actual throw teching as well. That's right. Yeah, it was just very weird. Like, why would you half-ass that, right? Like, we had HDR, which completely redid Super Turbo, right? That wasn't a balance patch. That was literally like a season 2, or maybe even an Alpha 1 to Alpha 2. But we've never really actually had a good a Super Turbo balance patch. Even the new Legacy that was created, I don't feel like was a good balance patch, because they changed too much, in my opinion. Adding all the OG characters to play like the hyper fighting versions and stuff like that, and taking away Chun-Li and Honda's Charge Super, etc., etc. I think that's too much. They had a really good opportunity for Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch to just make like this really subtle kind of balanced patched version of Super Turbo, which honestly I would still like to actually try to make. I almost want to see if I can learn how to mod Super Turbo like the New Balance guy did, just so I can actually like make a slightly more balanced version of the game without shaking it up, because that's what it needs. That's what Third Strike and Super Turbo and Alpha 3 and Alpha 2 all need. They just need minor tweaks, honestly, rather than just going absolutely ham, right? And that's just kind of how I feel about that. Don't get me wrong. Like, for the new Legacy mod, yeah, the new Legacy mod and HDR. To be fair, they both did a lot of things that were right. But I just feel like both of them went too far, is all it is. Because like, there are people who play ST, they play it, they have fun, they wish there was a more balanced version of it, but you don't want to take away the things that they enjoy, right? I've talked about this many times, even with this Season 2 patch for Street Fighter 6. You don't want to take away the things that are fun, you just want to take away the results of it. You want to let them do things, but you don't want to, like, for example, the way that Chun-Li was able to store the super and then skillfully, still be able to do crouching medium kick without activating the super but keeping it stored, or doing like the neutral jump roundhouse into super on landing, like a lot of neat tricks like that shouldn't be taken away. Like HDR took away Fei Long's heavy chicken wing into fierce Rekka combo. Like, you don't want to take these things away, because those are the things that the people really, really enjoyed and had a lot of fun with. And you don't want to take away the fun. And so you want to leave almost everything kind of in the game, but change the results, like Chun-Li Super. How do you balance Chun-Li Super? Just make it do less damage. That's all. Just make it do significantly less damage, because that thing hurts too much, because you can follow up with the up kicks, and usually that can drain like 70% of your life, like all these kind of things like that. Oh God, Third Strike. Third Strike probably needs a better balance more than Super Turbo does. Maybe not. I've always said Super Turbo, which, by the way, is my favorite Street Fighter, so this is not me saying bad things about Third Strike, but Super Turbo and Third Strike are two of the most unbalanced fighting games in Street Fighter history. But that just goes to show that people like that kind of thing, that they like unbalanced, or they like things being messed up and broken and dirty and cheap and things like that, which is why you don't take that stuff away, especially with how old the games are already, right? You don't want to change the games with how old they are. So if Capcom was ever like, let's make a new balanced Super Turbo, or let's make a new balanced Third Strike, I would like to get involved with that and make it so that things are a little like, so that the characters who are weak are a little bit stronger. My goal in Third Strike would also be to strengthen the supers that are useless. I would like it to actually be a significant choice, picking which super you want to use. But I really just don't feel like you should change what a lot of the characters can do. Yeah, there's a lot of bugs in Third Strike, like the dead body floats, Dudley getting hit off the ground. I'd have to talk to Third Strike heads and see if that's something they want removed. Like, are Dudley players like, yes, please, I don't want to get thrown into Shinsho anymore, in the corner. Like, that sucks, but, you just want, like, for example, Ganagin. Would you nerf Ganagin? Yeah, you don't want to nerf Ganagin so it can't juggle as much, but now what you can do is just make the Ganagin meter longer, or that you can code it, you can hard code it so that after Ganagin runs out, Yun doesn't gain meter until the combo ends, right? So you can do kind of what they did to Asar and to, JP's level 2. Figure out a way to code that into Yun. And I think that would be, a lot more fair, to be honest with you. Yeah, Mike Z he did make a list out there. Yeah, for sure. He had that, something like that. So, for sure, yeah, that's something that could, a lot of people are going to have different opinions on it. But, I just feel like I would want to make sure things. I just don't want to take away what people do. Like Chun-Li. Like, Chun-Li's kind of messed up. The right way to balance her is probably just to change Hoyokusen to only having one Hoyokusen, right? Because, like, some characters, literally, when they fight Chun-Li, their entire goal is to pray and win round 1, stand up the entirety of round 2 and hope Chun-Li uses all of her supers, and then try to win round 3. Like, literally, a lot of the characters who fight Chun-Li, their strategy is, please win round 1, let her spend all her meter round 2, and then pray I win round 3. Because a lot of characters literally just can't fight her once she gets a super. Like, the strategy is you have to sacrifice round 2 in order to beat her. It's crazy. It's actually kind of ridiculous. And so, making it so that she can only do one Hoyokusen instead of store up to 2 might just be the right way, because then even if she spends 1 in round 1 or whatever like that, she can't rattle off 2 of them and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of things that you can do in there. And again, I would like to try to buff the other supers, because I'm sad that people don't use the other supers in Third Strike. Like, obviously Kikosho is just something that nobody really uses, and the anti-air super. Why? Because Hoyokusen's too strong, right? And so now if you weaken Hoyokusen, but at the same time, you might want to do something with Yun to buff up Yoho and Sorai Rengeki, so that maybe people want to use those. There are some characters like Dudley, that have a good double pick, right? But like Urien, for example, there's no reason to ever not pick Aegis Reflector, right? So, how do you buff the other ones? And, like, the question is, like, would I go like Japan route? Would I take away the unblockables from Third Strike? Hell no. Just leave them in there, dude. Because, again, don't take away what people can do. Leave it in there. It's not like Urien and Oro were top tier characters in that game anyway. Granted, if we nerf some of the other characters, they might jump up. But, even nerfing Chun-Li and Yun with those kind of super meter things, and, like, let's say that's the only thing we do, I still think they'll be in the same tier or maybe higher than Urien, because, again, they're just that strong. They're just really strong. Remy's counter super is like the prototypical example of the worst kind of counter super in existence. And Olaf and I always talk about how it took years for Capcom to realize how to actually program a counter super. Because in Ultra, Cammy and Fei Long had the stupidest counter ultras in the game as well. Because if you make the super flash come out before the counter is triggered, it's useless. Like, you tend to eat up people's inputs, and then they don't. And then not only that, but Remy's Blue Nocturne didn't even work on airborne opponents. So if you activated it and the opponent did like the universal overhead, and you were right that they were gonna do something, it would trigger Blue Nocturne, he'd kick them out of the air, and then they'd land on their feet, and Remy's just like, whee! Like, why? Why would you do that? What are you thinking with that, dude? Oh my god. Like, seriously, like, Blue Nocturne might be historically in fighting games the worst counter super in the world because it doesn't even capture you and lock you to the ground so that they can actually do a combo on you. Like, at least Cammy and Fei Longs did that, right? At least they did that. But Remy's like, yo, you countered the jump attack, and then all of a sudden, nope. So stupid. I don't know what they were thinking with Blue Nocturne. Oh my god. Oh man. But anyways, that's just a side thing. Again, that's kind of how I would rebalance things as well.